So you got 45 bucks to spend on a new LED light. Your choices will usually be the Aperture M9, Sakani X21, but I have a new option for you that you likely haven't seen yet. Let's take a look, shall we? So this light is made by a little company called Tolifo. I actually haven't heard about them before this. I don't think I've even seen like any YouTube videos about them. But I saw this light on Amazon. It was like 46 bucks. The specs look pretty good, so I figured I'd give it a try. Just to go over the specs a bit, it has 15 watts on the daylight power and 15 watts on the tungsten power, which if you use them both together is 30 watts, which would be like 1 watt more than the bigger LED panel I'm using. So yeah, I'm not sure how right that is, but this thing is actually pretty bright. This is just at 50% power right now, and I mean, you could even use this kind of as a key light if you're really in a pinch. So when you first turn it on, it starts at 4400 Kelvin, which is the point where it uses both of the daylight and tungsten LEDs balanced together. So you get the full power of 4400 Kelvin. I do wish they did, you know, kind of brought up the top end higher so that they could balance it at 5600, you know, like the Aperture F7 does. But for a light at this price, I guess that's not bad. And if you go fully daylight balanced, you actually get some decent amount of power out of it. So the first thing I really noticed when I took this thing out of the box was the very sturdy build. I'm not sure if the actual barn doors themselves are metal, but they're like a really hard material. Now they mention, I believe, on the listing on Amazon, and also pretty big reminder on the bottom, please make sure to use the original hot shoe in the package. They say any other hot shoe screw that's too long can damage the light, and they're actually not kidding about that, just based off the way that the light is built. If you look into the hot shoe hole, you can see that it goes right through to the LED light. So if you have a screw that's too long, it definitely can damage it, so I would be careful with that. Luckily though, they included a decent enough hot shoe. In terms of plastic ones go, to be honest, this is actually one of the best plastic hot shoes I've ever used. I'm sure you probably noticed when you use like cheap little plastic hot shoes and you adjust the angle, they're like really creaky and it's like you don't really like want to rely on them. But this one is actually nice and smooth, and the locking mechanism for it is really solid actually. So yeah, I don't have any problems like sticking with this hot shoe for the time being. And it also does have like a little 1/4 inch thread on the bottom, so you could attach it right onto any light stand basically. So yeah, about that build quality, this thing is really pretty beefy, which is crazy for like a cheap light like this. It doesn't really feel cheap at all. It actually feels really solid. The sides are like a plastic or something, but it's like a really hard plastic. The back part of it kind of reminds me of those old MacBook commercials with Johnny Ive, where he's just like, "We constructed it from a solid block of aluminum."
Nailed it.
No, but seriously, like it's very durable. Unfortunately, they don't include any case for it, but you can easily just throw this in your camera bag and not even worry about it really. So this thing takes Sony MPF batteries, of course. Basically every light does. If it doesn't, then you know, what are you doing? But you can also power it with DC power. They don't include the adapter for that, but you know, come on, 40 bucks. You get that for cheap. Speaking of which, you're getting quite a lot for just 40 bucks. Solid build quality, built-in barn doors, built-in diffusion, even a pretty solid hot shoe. It's actually pretty crazy when you think about it. This is definitely a company to look out for. You gotta love them with smaller companies like Tolifo putting out cheap but high quality products. It's always great for creators like us to have an abundance of budget-friendly options. So yeah, really looking forward to see what else they have in store. But thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions about this light or just anything in general, leave a comment down below. And while you're at it, you could go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it. This is Caramel, and I hope you have a sweet day. Peace.